Hi everyone and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter and that's Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1 Episode 8. It's called Night of the Hawk. Full spoilers as always for the episode. And the gang spent the episode in 1958, so we got a new time period that we've not had yet. And I thought this was pretty good. I had,
Yeah, I had a few issues, but mostly I enjoyed it.
yeah, I think that this is more about sort of the standard of quality I would expect generally.
Yeah.
Um, I thought they did a good job of having everyone feel like they were doing something different. Everyone in the 50s got to go and do their own thing for the
And
most
for the
part.
first time in a while, they all felt relevant as well.
Yeah, because I felt like the last time that they had they all had jobs in a time period. Well, maybe not the last time because they went to Soviet Russia after that. But the one where they went to Washington's Pentagon, it felt
Mm.
like it was a montage, then it was over. Whereas this, it actually felt like they'd spent time establishing what each of them were doing in the
Yeah.
town. And the small town setting was quite good. And they got to deal with a lot of interesting 50s issues such as race and sexism and homophobia. All of them come up.
Perhaps a little too on the nose with some of them, like just a bit too much focus, perhaps. But I'd rather that than them ignore it.
Which ones do you think were on the nose?
Uh, the just the fact that they were all kind of the focus at once. It was like it felt like they were maybe trying to push a little too much. I don't know. I just felt it should have been reined in just a touch for me.
Um, I kind of agree. I agree and disagree. Like I can kind of see both sides of it because
Yeah,
on the one hand, I feel like maybe they should have kept the homophobia one out of this one because that is the one that they could have easily ignored this time and done
yeah,
in a different episode. Whereas I feel like with both Kendra and Jax, the race thing had to come up
it did.
because as soon as Ray and Kendra were pretending to be a married couple, I was like, wait a minute, are they not
Yeah,
going to think this is weird? Like that they're a couple
yeah,
in
yeah. Of course, that
1958.
that had to come up.
Um, and even Jax as well when he was going up to talk to the girl, I thought, oh, that's will
Yeah,
look strange to people in the 50s. So
it would. It was more the homophobia and the sexism could have done. It didn't perhaps need those as well.
hmm.
I mean, I get that obviously they were issues at the time, and it makes sense to show them as such. But I feel like it would have been a bit of a tighter focus just to show one of them and really explore that rather than show us bits of all of them.
That said, though, I did like when Stein's like saying, "Oh, I really like the 50s. Oh, these white picket fence. It was such an idyllic time." And then like everyone around was like, "Yeah, if you're white and straight and like a
Yeah,
man." And I thought, I guess I see why they hit them all in the same episode because it was kind of like literally straight white man was the only thing you could be where you had
yeah,
you know I don't even know the word for it. Privilege, like complete privilege in the 1950s. You had
yeah.
to be a
Of
straight white
course.
man. So I at least understand why they did it that way. But like I said, I think the homophobia is the one that they could have maybe saved for another episode. The sexism I kind of got though, and at least the sexism sort of angle was a little bit fun because Stein was kind of playing with it. And I thought Sarah was fun this
Mm,
episode with the
definitely
Ra's al Ghul taught me to kill slowly, like for
for
days.
days.
And she kept repeating it, and I was like, yeah, yeah. He's like he's playing up, but he knows that she can kill him. so,
Yeah,
um, so nah, I had fun with that. The actual plot was kind of just it was fine.
yeah. Kind of a monster of the week thing almost.
It was, but I appreciated that it felt like that, and not just. I mean, sure, trying to kill Savage was in there somewhere, but it didn't just feel like we're trying to kill. I liked that it started off with there's a series of murders and we're trying to investigate what's happening. Like I liked that there was a different kind
Yeah.
of angle to it.
I think the small town really worked for the monster of the week thing as well.
It did. It did. I do enjoy a good small town story.
Of course, very much aware of that.
I just mean in general. I know why you're thinking that, but
No, no, I know, I know you do in general though.
um, but no, that was good. The way they're handling what Cold may or may not have done to Mick, I think it's like did it Because I don't think he's dead. I think the way it was shot to me clearly indicates that that's not actually what
It was
happened.
too obvious that he wasn't.
However, the rest of the team kind of think he did. Like, that just seems to be what the status quo is right now,
Yeah.
which is a little bit strange. But I did like the conflict. I like Jack's like not being okay with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was good. If it was anything I didn't like, it was maybe like when Kendra's saying she's going to like try and kill Savage, and then Ray gets kind of protective.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that he get protective. It was just the sort of the forced bit after that where she was like, "Well, the team's okay with it, so I guess it's to do with us." So, like, that was like,
Yeah, and it was weird where this idea had only just been introduced. You've literally just said this. The team has had no opinion on it yet.
yeah, no one's actually said anything, so they could all be against this for all you know.
Yeah. No, that was weird. My biggest problem with it was during the pilot when they went to the 70s, and it had a distinct look, like visually. It had like a different color palette, and I feel like that this could have had another thing like that, where it just felt like the same as all the others, though, in terms of that visual style.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you think it's been the same since the pilot, and the first one didn't have a distinct visual style, that's just the visual style of the show.
No. But you know when they went back to the 70s, and then in the first two episodes, when they went back to the 70s, and like the colors were different, and like it looked different when they were there.
That's
Whereas-
kind of did.
Not really.
I don't know, when he was in the... Oh, by the way, I appreciated the Back to the Future reference,
Of course you did.
because it's always good to reference Back to the Future being in the 50s. Makes complete sense. That didn't stick out as much of a problem to me. It felt like the 50s.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it didn't feel like they were... It didn't feel like they were Agent Carter in it.
No, I'll give it that.
And that would be my biggest complaint, is when it feels like they're constantly hiding it. Nah, I mean, when they were outside, they had the old cars, the houses felt old school. I was fine with all that. I don't think this was an amazing episode by any means. It was like, it was just kind of a solid, fine
Yeah, I like the Smallville reference.
Smallville
I don't know
reference.
if you call it. You know, his Vandal Savage's alias was Curtis Knox.
Mm-hmm.
In Smallville, they introduced Curtis Knox. It was played by Dean Cain, and he was, for all intents and purposes, Vandal Savage. He was an immortal surgeon who experimented with meteors. But then I think he was supposed to be revealed as Vandal Savage, but then they couldn't. DC stepped in and was like, "Nah."
Well, that's a point off this episode for referencing Smallville right away. Piece of trash that show was.
I appreciate it.
Actually, speaking of references, one that really made me chuckle is that Savage's wing in the hospital was called Hall H, which is the big hall at Comic-Con that all the big, the big events take place. That's where MCU go in and do theirs. That's where all the big things go at Comic-Con, and that's the wing of the hospital where all the crazy nut jobs go. I thought that was an amusing little
That was
nod.
fun. Yeah.
So that's cool. I thought that was fine. I thought it was another fairly enjoyable episode. Cold and Rip being FBI for a scene or two.
That was fun.
Everyone got to do something. Sarah was back to being fun. I enjoyed last week's a bit more, but honestly, I think it's sort of fairly. It had. It had the Soviet two-parter, which was not great but not bad, and then it had that really bad Arrow,
Yeah, and
episode.
episode 3 as well was not great.
Not great at all.
Before the Soviet stuff, but after the 2-part pilot.
Yeah, that was better than the Soviets. Well, I don't know, was it? Maybe it was, I can't remember. But I feel like these past 2 episodes have been better than anything since the pilot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So I'm happy that there's a nice sort of more steady, stable level of quality we seem to be hitting now.
And I like the idea of what we're getting next week.
Yeah, I really like the idea that they had to go on the run quickly at the end because of this bounty hunter showing up, and it's abandoned Ray, Sarah, and Kendra in 1958,
Should be fun.
Which means we might see the lesbian nurse again. maybe
It
Sarah will
does.
get
I
some
believe
action.
we're also seeing Raz next week.
Raz. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, they made Sarah fun, so
They did, but like that was. Oh god, I hated all that Arrow.
so did I.
Hated it with a passion.
I did too, but I'm hoping.
I'm guessing maybe Sarah has the idea that since he was alive for like 100 years, that they can go and visit him.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's going to happen. I don't know. But I like that. I like that part of the team's abandoned in a time period and they have to deal with it without having any resources. And then, the rest of the team on the ship, whatever they're going to be doing, on the run from bounty hunters and fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
Should be a fun episode next week. But that said, we said that before the Star City one, so who knows?
We were so wrong.
Maybe next week's will be terrible. I don't know. But I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping. Overall, I still really like this show. Like, I feel like it's had some weak spots in one particularly bad episode, but we're halfway through, and if
We're halfway through, and about half the episodes or so have been good to great.
Yeah, and the other half have been mediocre
average to bad. Yeah.
To bad, yeah. So I guess it's kind of been all over the place, really. But when it's good, it is good. As opposed to Arrow, is when it's not terrible, it's mediocre. Oh dear. Alright, so that's this week's Legends of Tomorrow.